Welcome to TradeTheNBI.com. This is John's report is for October 4th, and a big day. You get the big alert system going throughout America. That'll be an interesting one to see. All sorts of theories about that situation. But regardless, the other day I had warned about what we were seeing from potential readings in that, and that it was alarming where we were at the 23%, and that we were looking at the potential for breaking down into new lows, particularly with where we were headed with the shakeout, and just no improvement whatsoever from DOC midterm buyers in green in that, and we're just caught back between that orange in between cyan and red, which is continuation, which was pretty much forward straight across, except for all your short-term buyers have been used up. And this is right about the time that new fund money should be arriving, and whether or not that will be enough to sustain things. But we expected a lower low, and then the theory being that you would end up with a higher shakeout or even the same red DOC pivot that would lift things back up, but from a lower low on higher readings, giving it a divergence. That would give it the most power for a move back up. But as you can see, even now we're starting again with NASDAQ, which was performing better. It was that lead of the red MBI white, MBI red right here over the magenta. That was the concerning part, and literally brought us back all the way to the zero. And you saw from the S&P even lower. The fact that magenta is above yellow, it should be enough to hold the support on the NQ at this particular stage, but things can deteriorate quickly because they're both heading south. You would want to see an improvement from shorts in this case, but they may be happy just taking profits at the zero number. Unless things continue to deteriorate, which, as you can see, treasury yields skyrocketing. As price falls, that interest rate hike, and so this is a projection that they're getting way ahead of even where the Fed is at this point, and that's an indication of where they see things going, particularly as it relates to the inflationary front. Oil fading off just a little bit, but still right back in that 90 handle right there, and that's problematic. The longer it goes, the worse that becomes from just a next cycle of inflation up. You could trade across a while, but then if it goes up another one, you're going to end up with another cycle. And, these become significant fears. The real question becomes economic growth and the ability to sustain it. And things look to be holding on. That is a nightmare scenario for the Eurozone, which is not doing well. And they're having to fight this now down at the 104. And I said, once we broke that 107, 106 range in here, and particularly at the 104, it was going to be tough to defend the euro going back towards parity. It's just a tough case. And the other shocker of the gold, and you got to question what's going on with that, particularly when we're about to see some significant inflationary numbers. To have gold trade back off, we've seen cryptos make their run because it's literally what should be happening in this scenario. The same with gold. Gold's behaving just the opposite, and then you see crypto even struggling at this particular stage. So looks like a lot of money was just moving to safety, which is ideal for the U.S. because you're running these massive deficits. Someone's got to buy your treasuries. You're watching China and Saudi Arabia and them liquidate treasuries in the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars. So you can see the transfer of things happening. From an ETH standpoint, again, nothing. I mean, Bitcoin's outperforming it significantly. No question about that. Which is always an interesting one because that the practical applications for Ethereum versus Bitcoin from a store of value sense, it's a little interesting. So here we have it's a pretty clean day. I mean, literally we started with the brief poke up that just collapsed. I mean, the MBI white was clear right there when we first got the move to zero. The bounce back up didn't take much for it. We never even got an MBI magenta over 25, and that's just a death nail as far as that goes. From our 50K, when we saw the red leading again, this is what happens. The red leads, but immediate fade back. MBI white was there, boom, retraced all the way back down, and you can see they're fighting just to get back up towards that 0 point right there. We're already like minus 20 at one point. It's nearly about even right now. Um, Pretty active though. We're starting to see a lot more activity and volume from an intraday standpoint. You can see this all started pre-market. Once it began, right before the cash open, started to get a bounce, but as we got close to it, boom, just catered, and there was nothing after that. They just the wind out of everyone's sails. You can see in the pre-market, there was some more selling to try and capture any final short spots down in there, and that's sparked a nice relief recovery to try and clear out any of the weak hands. And they're getting pretty good on that one. I mean, this reading is pretty strong at this particular stage for a 5 minute, but um, the warnings were clear, and it was just a question of following what the readings were so that the timing would be right on it. Everything that's been happening, we've been spot on with. So that's all good stuff. As always, though, continue to look for me on our Skype chat. Trade well. We'll talk in there.